Aikwe, Neknamalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I will be talking about my third book haul of 2023. So once again, it feels like too short of a time between this one and the last book haul that I've done. However, since June is my birthday month, I figured this now was a good time to haul what I have. I've been in a particular mood lately that I've been like buying books has been a comfort. It's always been a comfort. And so yes, I totally am in the mindset that book buying is a totally different hobby than book reading. I obviously have a problem. All these stacks of books are books that I have not read. So should I be buying more? Probably not. And yes, I've been trying to keep myself accountable for that. But you know what? Shut up. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's go ahead and haul the books. The first book that I have, I've already read. So you will see a review in my wrap up, as well as possibly a rapid fire review of this author where I will review 3 of their books. But that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. If you know why I have a physical copy, then you know. If not, then just wait for those reviews. Otherwise, this is a Happy Place is following Harriet and Wynne, who have been a couple for years and years. They met in college along with 4 other of their friends in their friend group. There's 6 of them total. And every year since college, they have been going to a cabin in Maine for a week in the summer. However, this year, not only have Harriet and Wynne broke up without telling their friend group, but this is going to be the last year they can spend at the cabin because it is being sold. So not to ruin their friends' time one last time at this cabin, Harriet and Wynne decide that they are going to play to fake their loving relationship throughout the weeks. This is not a review, so that's it. I'm not the biggest fan of Emily Henry's covers. So the book design is by Alison Knockart. I'm sorry, I'm just not the biggest fan of this simple illustration, let alone this highlighter pink color. I guess this one's a little better than most, but I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but I have it. So the next one is also a bright highlighter pink color, and that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This is one government department you don't want to mess with. So I have been oddly fixated on witches lately. This one intrigued me. I haven't heard much about it, but the stuff that I have heard has been very positive. I ended up getting this from Book Depository before they closed down. Thanks, Amazon. There's other accesses, Blackwell Books as well as Abe Books, but I am also sure that Abe Books is also owned by Amazon. So if there's if Blackwell's Books, is that owned by Amazon? I don't think so, but let me know. Otherwise, is there another independent bookshop that, much like bookshop.org, that offers UK covers? I'd be very interested. If you know, let me know down in the comments below. That'd be very helpful to me, because I do try not to order from Amazon when I can. I don't know too much about. Hidden Among Us is a secret coven of witches. Known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven, they protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil. But their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperers of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and 4 best friends are about to get caught in the center. Will Helena, Neum? I'm probably saying that wrong. Leonie and Elle be able to stop the prophecy before it's too late, or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch was never simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic. So I'm pretty excited for this. Once again, not the biggest fan of this highlighter pink color. However, I do enjoy this bit particularly more than I do the US cover. So the other book that I also got from Book Depository before it closed down was Every Sky a Grave by J. Posey. Once again, for its cover. I don't think this was available through bookshop.org. I guess I could have got it from Abe Books, but still. So once again, cover is absolutely gorgeous. Mankind has spread out and conquered the galaxy by mastering the fundamental language of the universe. With the right training, the right application of words, truth itself can be rearranged. Language is literally power. Peace reigns now. Order reigns. Because if a planet deviates too far from what the authorities plan, an agent is sent out to correct that, and to quietly and with great skill end that world. One such agent is Elith, a true believer. But on a mission to stop uprising before it can begin, Elith meets a resistance cell and realizes that there is so much she doesn't know. Is it possible that the authorities have deceived everyone, and what does it mean that rebel forces are able to harness the power of true language? So I'm very curious about it right now. Admittedly, I'm not in the sci-fi mood, but I mean, I'm sure I'll get there. So I'm excited. Hopefully I can pick this up when I do get into that mood. Next bit I got from bookshop.org. So this one is a poetry collection, also with a gorgeous fucking cover. I just love it so much, and its synopsis I feel is just as compelling as the cover itself. An unflinching shapeshifter, beast of every threshold, dances between familial hauntings and cultural histories, intimate hunger, and broader griefs. Memories become malleable. Pop culture provides a backdrop to glittery queer love, and folklore speaks back as a radical tool of survival. With unapologetic precision, Natalie Wee unravels constructs of otherness and names language our most familiar weapon, illuminating the intersections of queerness, diaspora, and loss with obsessive, inexhaustible ferocity, and insurrecting the self-rendered as a sight of violence makes visible the beast at every threshold. Beguiling and deeply imagined, Wee's poems explore thresholds of marginality, queerness, immigration, nationhood, and reinventing of the self through myth. So I was very excited to get this. Had been on my wish list for a bit, so I'm happy that I finally got it. The next couple are pre-orders. The first one is This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. Once again, I don't feel like I'm in a horror mood anymore. However, that last one, that last horror mood I was in lasted like half a year, so I don't doubt that I'll probably find myself back into it, particularly as we head towards the later part of summer and into spooky season. So we'll see. Hopefully maybe it's sooner than that, with Summerween being announced, but we'll see. This summer is going to get gory. 2 years ago, a small percentage of the population underwent a transformation known as the hollowing. Those affected were only able to survive by consuming human flesh. The people who went without quickly became feral, turning on their friends and family. Luckily, scientists were able to create a synthetic version of human meat that would satisfy their hunger. As a result, humanity slowly began to return to normal. But Cut to Zoe, Celeste, Valeria, and Jasmine, 4 hollow girls living in Southern California. As a last hurrah before graduation, they attend a music festival in the heart of the desert. They have a cooler filled with seltzer, vodka, and sin flesh, and are ready to party. But on the first night of the festival, Val goes feral and ends up killing and eating a boy in one of the bands. As other festival guests start to disappear around them, the girls soon discover someone is targeting people like them if they can't figure out how to stop it, and soon no one at the festival is getting out alive. This one very much resonates Newsflesh to me by Mira Grant. I haven't completed that series yet either. There's just a couple of short stories from that series that I still need to get through, but ultimately it's giving very, very much that vibe. And I'm realizing more and more that I just enjoy zombie books, so this is exciting to me. The next, I have a very anticipated release for this year, and technically I've already hauled it in a vlog, but I'm gonna go ahead and haul it again, and that is Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angeline Booley. This is I wouldn't call it a sequel, but it is in the same world as Firekeeper's Daughter. Firekeeper's Daughter was one of my favorite books of, was it last year or the year before? I don't remember, but is and continues to be one of my favorite books of all time. I've heard a couple of people talk about this already and they absolutely loved it. I've also heard, just reading the synopsis. Let me just go ahead and read that for you. Perry Firekeeper Birch has always known who she is. The laid-back twin, the troublemaker, the best fisher on Sugar Island. Her aspirations won't ever take her far from home, and she wouldn't have it any other way. But as the already striking number of missing Indigenous women continues to rise, as her family becomes embroiled in a high-profile murder investigation, and as a greedy As greedy grave robbers seek to profit off what belongs to her Anishinaabe tribe, Perry begins to question everything. In order to reclaim this inheritance for her people, Perry has no choice but to take matters into her own hands. She can only count on her friends and allies, including her overachieving twin and a charming new boy in town with unwavering morals. Old rivalries, sister secrets, and botched heists will not stop her from uncovering the mystery before the ancestors and missing women are lost forever. So already I can tell it has MMIW topics in here. I also know that reading the synopsis that on Goodreads is slightly different, and it has to do with NAGPRA. So I'm excited to eventually get to this. I know it's on my May TBR. Unfortunately, right now I'm currently filming this on like May 20th. Yes. And I have yet to get to it and just haven't. I've been in a weird funk lately, so I'm hoping to get to this soon as I can, once I am in the mental capacity to be able to do so. So yeah. And of course, once again, cover is absolutely gorgeous. This one I had also came from Bookshoporg, and it was one that was for the longest time just like back ordered, and so when it finally became available I immediately picked it up. I do love occasionally ordering children's books, not only for like my niece, but also in case I decide to have children someday. So I have picked up How the Oceans Came to Be, written by Arvis Bowman and illustrated by Alfreda Bertrand Algio. Sorry. There wasn't much of there's not a synopsis in here, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I absolutely love this cover and thought it would be really interesting. I think I actually like added it to cart on Earth Day, and thought it was a really perfect buy for Earth Day in all honesty. So next is a book that is the second in a series, which I have heard no one talk about this. So this is the second one in the series, and this is The Endless Song by Joshua Philip Johnson. So the first one is The Forever Sea, which was all right, and like it was a little slow in all honesty, but what I loved about it was the environment, the world building. I loved it so much, and I remember particularly at the end of that particular book being really intrigued enough to want to pick up the second book. But I hadn't heard like when it was supposed to come out, and then I happened to look it up and realized it was already out, so decided to get it. Once again, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. The first cover is also gorgeous. I won't say anything about this particular one, mostly because I don't want to be spoiled, nor do I want to spoil it for you. But the Forever Sea, let me just grab it. It's like right here. Like, what the heck? That's so, I was like, this is how they'll, at first I thought they were like uneven, but it's just because that does check it. Oh my god, that's so pretty. That's super cool. Okay. So the first one, I'll give you the synopsis from that. The Forever Sea. On the never-ending miles-high expanse of prairie grasses known as the Forever Sea, kindred Grey Reach, Hearthfire Keeper, and sailor aboard the harvesting vessel The Errant is just beginning to fit in with the new crew of her new ship when she receives devastating news. Her grandmother, the Marchess, legendary captain and Hearthfire Keeper, has stepped from her vessel and disappeared into the sea. But the note she leaves Kindred suggests this was not an act of suicide. Something waits in the depths, and the Marchess has set out to find it. To follow in her grandmother's footsteps, Kindred must embroil herself in conflicts bigger than she could ever imagine. A water war simmering below the surface of two cultures, the politics of a mythic pirate city floating beyond the edges of safe seas, battles against beasts of the deep driven to the brink of madness, and elusive promise of a world below the waves. So it, like I said, was a little slow, but ultimately very intriguing. So yeah, I'm definitely hoping to be able to get to this at some point. I'm obviously hoping to be able to get to all of these soon, but next was another pre-order for another anticipated read, and that is To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monakila Blackgoose. This is I believe the start of a series, but I'm so excited for it. So this is like a fantasy a fantasy dealing with dragons, but also having an Indigenous main character. The remote island of Mascapag has not seen a dragon in many generations until 15-year-old Anequas finds a dragon's egg and bonds with its hatchling. Her people are delighted, for all remember the tales of the days when dragons lived among them and danced away the storms of autumn, enabling the people to thrive. To them, Anequas is revered as, I'm going to mispronounce this, Nampeshitu, Wisit, a person in unique relationship with the dragon. Unfortunately for Naquest, the English conquerors of her land have different opinions. They have a very specific idea of how a dragon should be raised and who should be doing the raising, and Anaquest does not meet any of their requirements. Only with great reluctance do they allow Anaquest to enroll in a proper English dragon school on the mainland. If she cannot succeed there, her dragon will be killed. For a girl with no formal schooling, a non-English upbringing, and a very different understanding of the history of her land, challenges abound, both socially and academically. But Anaquas is smart, determined, and resolved to learn what she needs to help her dragon, even if it means teaching herself. The one thing she refuses to do, however, is become the meek English miss that everyone expects. Anaquas and her dragon may be a coming of age, but they're also coming to power, and that brings an important realization: the world needs changing, and they might just be the ones to do it. I'm super excited for this. Cover is gorgeous. I wish it was hardback, but it's a good floppy. So yeah. And then at first I thought it was damaged there up here at the top, but that's just the cover design, I guess. So, okay, the next two are my book of the month picks for May. So my official book of the month pick for May was The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I'm sure all of y'all have heard about this, but that's a cool back, actually. I really like that. But let's go ahead and give you the synopsis anyway. After posting a negative book review, a woman living in a remote location begins to wonder if the author is a little touchy or very, very dangerous in this pulse-pounding novel of psychological suspense and terror. Emma Carpenter is living in isolation with her golden retriever, Laika, who house-sitting an old beachfront home on the rainy Washington coast. Her only human contact is with her enigmatic elderly neighbor, oh my god, Deke, and via text with the house's owner, Jules. One day she reads a poorly written but gruesome horror novel by the author H.G. Cain and posts one-star review that drags her into an online argument with none other than the author himself. Soon after, disturbing incidents start to occur at night. To Emma, this can't be just a coincidence. It was strange enough for this author to bicker with her online about a lousy review. Could he be stalking her too? So that's all I'm going to read of that, just because I don't want to be spoiled for it. I really like this ominous cover. This is actually like perfect weather for me. So yeah, I actually really enjoy it. So that's my May pick, and then my bonus pick for the month is The Last Russian Doll by Kristen Loesch. In a faraway kingdom in a long ago land, a young girl lived happily in Moscow with her family, a sister, a father, and an eccentric mother who liked to tell fairy tales and collect porcelain dolls. One summer night, everything changed, and all that remained of that family were the girl and her mother. Now, a decade later, and studying at the University of Oxford, Rosie has an English name, a loving fiancé, and a promising future, but all she wants is to understand and bury the past. After her mother dies, Rosie returns to Russia, armed with little more than her mother's strange folklore and a single key. What she uncovers is a devastating family history that spans the 1917 revolution, the siege of Leningrad, Stalin's purges, and beyond. So I'm fairly curious about this, mostly because I've been watching a lot of Mysteries of the Abandoned, which is on Discovery Plus. And there's a lot of remnants of the Cold War, and it has been making me curious in general about Russia's history. So I thought this would be an interesting little like tidbit. It's not obviously not nonfiction, but if they still think it'd be curious. So the next book I actually got from a Kickstarter. So TJ Derrick had posted this on Kickstarter and it looked really fun, so I went ahead and backed it, and it was recently completed and sent to me. I absolutely love the smell of it. It reminds me of, for some reason, of like it's a different smell, but it smells like a children's book, a new children's book. It very much reminds me of sitting in the library at my elementary school. My only issue is that when it was in the mail, it got dinged up. So I'm a little upset by that, but ultimately I'm super happy with the overall turnout. So congratulations to TJ Derrick for getting all your backers and getting this Kickstarter fulfilled. But that is Seymour and the Whale, and I just absolutely love the illustrations. That's what really just intrigued me and had me back it. I absolutely like hardcover. These are embossed. I love the texture, but once again, the illustrations. But yeah, we got some dings in the mail, so I'm a little upset by that. Now, we've all heard of pirates. They're tough and they're mean. They have mighty long beards and they're not very clean. They seek buried treasure hid under the sand with a patch for an eye and a hook for a hand. A pirate's best friends are his bird and his gun. This describes all pirates but one. So I think I'm pretty sure it's about Seymour, who is a kid who wants to be a pirate. So I think it's gonna be so cool. I'm really excited for this. So another one that I didn't pre-order it, but I did order it shortly after it came out, that I'm interested obviously in because I ordered it, but also came from bookshop.org that I missed. It was under Seymour and the Whale, so I didn't see it. But that is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I have read another L.R. Lamb. I think it's the same person, right? Laura Lamb. So I don't know if they prefer L.R. Lamb now as opposed to Laura Lamb. So this one's a sci-fi climate. This is climate fiction in space and like futuristic Earth. And this one I think is YA fantasy, so I don't know if they're going by Laura Lamb for their sci-fi and L.R. Lamb for fantasy. It's just curious. But again, once again, this freaking cover is gorgeous. So, long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to the dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember and they do not forgive. Thief Arcady scrapes a living on the streets of Vatra. Desperate, Arcady steals a powerful artifact in the bones of a plague bringer, the most hated person in Lume history. Only Arcady knows the artifact's magic holds the key to a new life among the nobles at court and chance of revenge. The spell connects to Evren, the last male dragon foretold to save his kind, dragging him through the veil. Disguised as a human, Evren soon learns to regain his true power and form and fulfill his destiny. He only needs to convince one little thief to trust him enough to bond completely, body, mind, and soul, and then kill them. Yet the closer the two become, the greater the risk both their worlds will shatter. So very, very curious about this one. Once again, the cover is just absolutely gorgeous. And speaking of gorgeous covers, I read a book recently that I had told you a brief review about in my April wrap up, and because of that, because I enjoyed it so much through audio, I wanted a physical copy because I need trophies, and ended up getting the special edition version of this book, and that is my last book for this haul. But that is the Fairy Loot edition to The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I could not choose between the US edition and the UK edition until I saw this particular special edition of the UK edition. So we have gold filigree of this beautiful dust jacket and it goes all the way around. And then of course we have, this really is the what got me, is the sprayed edge design. So it's black all around, but this design in particular really had me. And then it was also the amount of work they did for the naked hardcover. Once again, more filigree, gold filigree. I absolutely freaking love it. And then the piece de resistance is the inner cover map and character design. On both sides. So super freaking happy that I enjoyed this book enough to want this particular edition. I think my one worry is that, are they gonna continue these special editions for the remainder of the series? I don't know how many books are supposed to be in this series, because obviously we only just got this first one, but I hope so. It would be so cool. Otherwise I'm gonna have to figure out what normal edition or regular edition I would want. It would probably be the US if I have this particular UK edition, so I don't know, we'll have to see. But if you don't know, The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi follows Amina El-Sarafi, who has survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princess, several husbands, and one actual demon, to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's offered a job no bandit could refuse, she jumps at the chance for one final adventure with her old crew that will make her a legend, and offers a fortune that will secure her and her family's future forever. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the higher the stakes, for there's always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. So once again, I've already read this. I have a brief review in my April wrap-up, but ultimately I really did enjoy this. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten this gorgeous copy, and I can't wait for more of the series. So thank you, Shannon Chakraborty. This is my first Shannon Chakraborty, so I'm interested. I'm curious. I haven't read the synopsis or anything, but I've heard nothing but good things about the Dagobah trilogy, so I may start looking into that as well if I can't seem to wait for the next in the series to come out. So that was a pretty good, decent haul. That popped my wrist. So if you've read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this, in all honesty. I'm excited for all of them, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten them, but they're saying that and there's actually like reading them. So yeah. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let's go ahead and put, I know there's an octopus emoji, and because I can't stop thinking about these tentacles, let's go ahead and put an octopus emoji down in the comments down below if you've made it this far. Be sure to like this video. Subscribe to me if you have yet to do so and you want to see more of me. Otherwise, I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading, and I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.